E360 TV proudly presents messages of inspirational stories. Live streaming now to millions of devices, including Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Android TV, YouTube Live, Facebook Live. With your host, Donna Guinois, producer and host, Jim Grant, producer and host, along with Michaela Vidal, administrator and host, and Gaia Guinois Balconi Wada, editor-in-chief. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You can see Emerson there. He is definitely live.
Howdy, hi.
Hey, how you doing, Emerson? We are so glad to be here. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in. And our show is proudly brought to you by The 7 Levels of Truth, a book by Mr. Bill Heinrich, a good friend of ours. And we're very excited about the Hometown Good News magazine. We're glad that they've joined us to sponsor us, and we're just honored to have those good folks with us as they're continuing to create their magazine and grow with us. And Emerson, oh my goodness, how important is it for all of us to enjoy, just sit back and relax, take a deep breath and just say, I want to live an abundant life. I'm sick and tired of the rat race.
Whoa.
Hey, there you go.
I thought I had it muted.
Cell phone wakes them up.
Hello? Oh, okay. I thought I had that muted. There we go.
That's
Sorry
okay.
about
that. Hey, that's life, right?
Modern life, right?
There you go.
That's part of the clutter in our life, right?
Mm-hmm. It sure is.
Clutter is anything that's there, that's piled up, that distracts us,
mm-hmm.
that pulls our focus in different directions. It's not just stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's all of those little things. It's all of the little emails that come through. It's all of the little spam phone calls. It's all of the Facebook posts. It's everything. And I know you guys covered a lot of that on the last show.
Yeah, we did. And we want to talk some more a little bit, because on the last show, we talked a lot about keeping things simple, how to simplify your life, how to declutter your life, and, how to go through and just organize your workspace and things of this nature, but start clearing up your mind, start freeing up your time, that sort of thing. Today, though, before we get started, we're going to have some national days today. Today is July the 20th, and it seemed like every week we have a National Hot Dog Day.
It was looking to me like we had a National Tequila Day every day.
Yeah, exactly, But, today, July the 26th, it marks the first day of the National Aunt and Uncle Day.
We've all been there.
Oh, yeah. Think about the wonderful aunts and uncles that you may have in your life. And also the day they give a special day just for the aunts, the Auntie Day. And I'll tell you right now, I've had some...
Opposite to a day. It's the Auntie Day. I don't know, Jim.
Yeah. AUNTIE, Auntie's Day. Yeah. That's July the 26th. And I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to recognizing our loved ones, family and friends, it's so important to take time out. Let all the nonsense that really doesn't matter in your life go away. And remember to say, get in touch with your family, your friends, whether you're related to them by blood or not. And just let them know you're thinking of them and you care about them and you appreciate them. Oh, I love being appreciated. How about you, Emerson?
Yeah.
He's in rare form today, folks. Oh my goodness.
No, you know what? Mm-hmm. Here's the thing. And you said it well, Jim. It's you and I have both been through, as well as Donna, and she's not here today. Mm-hmm. We have all been through life situations that the very fact that we're here talking mm-hmm. Is a miracle. It's just a miracle. It's a miracle. Yes. However you want to look at it, God's plan the wisdom of the doctors and the medical people, circumstances, the moments that are all, it's like everything. I like to say there are no accidents, although mine was an accident. But anyway, the idea that, and this is scriptural too, there is no promise of tomorrow.
You're right.
And I'm not being scriptural from the standpoint of trying to proselytize here, but the concept is what's important. And literally, and it says today is the day of salvation. Well, let's take it out of the religious spiritual sense into a universal sense of there is no promise for tomorrow. Today is the day. Everything in our life, the way that it is today, that's what we got to work with. Nothing more, nothing less.
You can't do something yesterday and you can't do it tomorrow, can you?
No. In fact, there's a Sanskrit. It was just coming to me as I was saying it. And I think I can remember this pretty well, folks, but I'm doing it completely from memory with 2 brain cells. It says, look to this day, for it is the very life of life. For yesterday is but a memory, and tomorrow is but a dream. But today, well lived, makes every yesterday a memory of happiness, and every tomorrow a vision of hope.
You're absolutely correct.
Every culture has something in that culture, some wisdom. So wherever you are, whatever it is that you believe, reach for that and find it, whatever position or place that you're in, because it elevates us out of despair. It elevates us into hope. It elevates us into vision. It elevates us into a place where we can see beyond the current circumstances. And sometimes, Jim, that's all important.
Yes, you're exactly right. It really is, Emerson. And also, National Today, this fits right into what we're talking about. This fits right into our theme. This is National All or Nothing Day. And this is the perfect way.
Man, all in.
Yeah. It says the perfect way to live your life is to put your all into something. And that is true, especially with relationships, especially with the value and the true value of life and what life's about. Put all your heart into it. Enjoy it, and realize that the heartbeat in your veins, which I can talk a little bit about, the breath in your lungs, those are both very important gifts from the Creator. They really are. And I've said many times on the show, Emerson, that I try to remember in the morning, because a lot of mornings I get up, when I wake up, the first thing goes through my mind, and I should do this every day, to be honest, is that thank you for the heartbeat in my veins. Thank you for the breath in my lungs. You've given me this day, so it's time for me to get up and get some things done.
Well, it's kind of the old thing, Jim. A lot of mornings, I'm guilty of this too. A lot of mornings we wake up and the first thought in our mind is, good God, it's morning. And the challenge is being able to change that around to good morning, God.
Yeah. And there's a lot of songs singing All or Nothing by Frank Sinatra's one.
Singing.
Oh, you got to give me a quarter to do that. But the Bando Band.
I'll mail it to you.
There you go. It checks in the mail, right? The Bando Band releases their All or Nothing. The Boys Band, BOY bands. They the band Westlife releases their hit All or Nothing. And Bryan Adams had released his song in 2019, All or Nothing. So it's very, very important for us to remember, when we're doing something, especially when we're doing something for someone else, give it your all. We've often heard about that. And today is also National Bagel Fest Day. Man, sometimes I love a good bagel. How about you?
I do. they were a trade secret. I mean, a massively protected secret for decades, maybe centuries.
Really? I
And
didn't know that.
it wasn't until the last century that they became massively available,
Mm-hmm.
because there are all sorts of steps in making a bagel.
Mm.
And it wasn't until the last century that they became massively available.
Mm-hmm.
But they were a trade secret. It was our trade secret's not the right word. Apprentices would learn how to do it, and it would be learned in that kind of environment, and everybody was sworn to secrecy,
Mm-hmm.
because bagels have to be boiled, have to be steamed. There are a lot of different steps in them, and whether you like them or not, they're a great example of what we're talking about here, Jim.
Mm-hmm. You're exactly right. They really are. And also, this goes right good with a bagel. This is National Coffee Milkshake Day.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, can you believe that? Coffee was first discovered in Ethiopia back in 1850 AD, they say. And a coffee tree appears in Yemen in the 1400s. Then coffee comes to America in 1773. And American milkshakes appear in the early 1900s. And Rhode Island premieres the first coffee milkshake back in the 1930s.
Well, if you knew me well, there's a chain, and I'll just say the name of it. I'm not sponsoring it. I'm not promoting it. I don't get a dime if you go or not, and I'm not particularly fond of everything they have, but they have some good things. And one is a Jamocha shake. It's a chain called Arby's.
Mm.
And one of the things that I have done for years, I have looked up an Arby's to find a Jamocha shake. That is a chocolate and coffee shake.
Mm.
And they, for whatever reason, other than little boutique ice cream shops or whatever, for whatever reason, they are the only fast food chain that has that.
I'd be doggone. I didn't know that.
Oh, man, it's some kind of good. You got to try it.
Oh, I certainly will. Thanks for the heads up on that. I didn't know they made those.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I didn't know Arby had this, what I meant.
Yeah, yeah.
And today is also National Disability Independence Day. This is great because a lot of people who have overcome disabilities, and Emerson, what you went through with your accident, and you were in a coma for what, 6 weeks?
Give or take.
Give or take?
Give or take, yeah.
Give or take a month.
When I woke up, I was in rehab, and they'd already put 36 inches of tubing from my brain down to my lower regions, and I had no memory of any of it. It was much harder on my wife and on my family than it was on me.
Bless your heart.
But an awful lot of our viewers and followers are people from the military.
Yeah.
And people who have had loved ones who've been damaged, came back to them as different people, or they themselves continue to struggle with injuries and damage that's taken place. And so often we find the funding to send them. We don't often find the funding and the commitment when people come back. And that's something that everybody can get behind because, Jim, you served, and you didn't pick the war, you didn't pick the battle, you didn't pick the enemy, you didn't pick any of that. You just said, "Yes, sir." And when we send these young men and women out, it's our obligation, our duty, to me, it's a requirement. If we say, you know what, all of that support that we gave then, it's going to continue for you to make sure you're made whole, or as whole as you can be.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And when it comes to the folks who are with the American Disabled Association and folks that they represent, I'll tell you right now, if you want to see inspiring messages and you want to, count your blessings in life, look at people who have become disabled. maybe from an accident or injury, whatever it might be, and how they pick up, how they pick themselves up.
And by the way, most don't use the phrase to describe themselves that they're disabled because they see bigger
Yes.
than that. They're
Yes,
not
they do.
defined by that disability.
There you go.
Yeah, that's and that leads right into the things we're going to be talking about today, because your mindset, your head, the things that you let in, or as I like to put it, the real estate that you allow people to squat on in your head, that's important for us all to take charge over, because we only have one life. There is no dress rehearsal.
Oh, that's for sure. And also winding up today, and today is also the National Day for taking a photograph of your dog. How important is that, huh? Oh boy. I think we all have a lot of photographs of our pets and everything. But when it comes to you living the life that you so richly deserve, that's one thing that I think it takes everybody to some degree a chance to reach out and embrace. Because many times in life, deep down inside, in the corner of our mind, we may not be aware of it, but sometimes subconsciously, we may think that we're not worthy to live that abundant life. And we need to address that, don't we, Emerson?
Yeah, you are worthy.
Yes.
You are worthy. And I'm going to add, because there's another side of the balance here. It's personal responsibility. Something that is on my wall, it was given to me over 20 years ago. I think about it every single day, Jim. And I'm going to say it, and I'm going to have we're going to have a lot of people who don't necessarily agree with it.
Okay.
And all I'm going to ask is, think it, consider it, measure it, prove it, because I've spent over 20 years, and there hasn't been a day that's gone by that it hasn't been something I've had to consider. My intentions and my results are always the same. It's the P&L. If anybody out there knows business and accounting, a P&L statement, profit and loss, are always equal.
That's right.
At the bottom of it, it always equals out, right?
You're correct.
So think about it like that. Every decision that we make, decision, all of the decisions that you have made up until this moment has brought you to this very moment. 18 minutes into this show has been brought to you by a lifetime that Jim has spent. It didn't just happen. You didn't just have a great pizza and a beer one night and go, I'm going to start a show. Every single thing in our life, each decision builds on the last decision. The minute that we can start to conceive that and think about it, what was it Napoleon Hill said, Jim? Whatever
the mind can conceive and believe,
it
the
will
mind can
achieve.
achieve.
The true responsibility is there's nobody for me to blame. There's nobody that held me back. There is nobody that I can say, because of them, I didn't do X. Personal responsibility is, I own it. My intentions and my results are always the same at the bottom of my life's P&L. That's the balance sheet.
It also
shows pretty
shows
deep there. Now we're going to lighten it up, I think, Jim, right?
Yeah, no, but really, that really is perfectly in line. That says, you are created to enjoy the abundance. And
Absolutely.
You don't have any choke chain around you unless you either put it on yourself or you allow others to put it on you. But you're exactly right, Emerson. And being honest with yourself and owning the things, okay, whatever is going on in my life, good or bad, I have earned it. So own it.
And every major, excuse me, every major
Mm-hmm.
world religion backs up what we're saying.
Oh,
I'm just
yeah.
going to go to the Judeo-Christian in
Mm-hmm.
Ecclesiastes in the Old Testament. You are the head and not the tail, above only and not beneath. This
Mm-hmm.
has to do with that's how you are created.
Mm-hmm.
Wherever
Yeah.
you find yourself in your life,
Mm-hmm.
recognizing that and saying, okay, what is it that I'm allowing? And again, some of the topic here was supposed to be about clutter and about balance and things like that. But what is it that I'm allowing, or who is it that I'm allowing in my life to
Oh, yeah.
keep me from that? Because I own that decision. I own the place that I'm at. I own
Mm.
all of that, and I can't blame anybody. I can't
Mm.
make excuses. I own it.
Oh, you are so right on there. You really are. And sometimes that's a hard thing for us to
It is hard.
recognize and accept, but when we do, it's kind of like when you make a mistake in life and you know you made a mistake in life, and whatever the consequences were from that mistake, it will always bother you until you own it. And that might mean you go to the
Oh,
person and say, I made a mistake and I'm very sorry.
please forgive me.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
boy, that's hard.
yeah.
But until you do it, you're not free of it.
Mm-mm,
Until you
not at
do it,
all.
you have this anchor that's dragging you down, and
Yeah.
you may not even be aware of it. You may say, well, you know what? They did this and they did that and they did the, you know what? I can't answer that part of it. All
Mm-hmm.
I can do is answer how I responded to it,
Mm.
how
Mm.
I reacted to it. And you know me long enough to know, Jim, I put a difference between responding and reacting,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But my personal responsibility is over me.
Mm-hmm. You're
Your
right.
personal responsibility is over you. If you act
Wow.
terrible towards me, that's on you. But you know what? What I allow that to do for me in my life
Mm-hmm.
is on me, not
There
you.
you go. There you go. I heard it explained in another way. It's a little bit different, and it's kind of like whenever someone says something to us and we don't like it, we flare up. And the guy used an analogy, which is pretty good. He says, take the dove that's flying through the air during dove season, and some dove hunter, takes a shot at it, and the bullets miss the dove. The dove goes on flying. It doesn't stop in mid flight, turn around and say, what are you shooting at me for? Why don't you go buy yourself a hamburger? you know? But see, the point of it is, even though the dove
Although
got
it's
shot at,
justified, it would be justified
yeah,
on a
yeah.
human sense, it would be justified.
Mm-hmm.
A
But the
lot of
little,
people use that justification for their excuse
oh,
for the
yeah, they're,
story, for the narrative, for the story in their head.
yeah, they're itching to combat.
Mhm.
They're just itching to respond like that and combat and just react out of control. But the dove just goes on flying and does just lives its life. And many times we get caught up in the process rather than the content of what life's about. We let somebody behind us at a red light blow their horn and we get all upset. And we've all had
It destroys
someone.
our day. We're angry about it. We tell everybody at the water fountain about it. And you know what? The person that did it doesn't even remember doing it. They like go
Mm-mm.
on with their life.
Mm-hmm.
But we've given them space. And I
Mm.
talk about it like this. It's like we've given them free rental in our space
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
live in our head.
Mm-hmm.
Stop giving free rental to other people
Mm.
in your head.
That's the most valuable real estate on planet Earth, isn't it?
It is. And you control it. You're the landlord.
Yeah. And you don't have to go to the court to get an order to throw them out.
No. You know, I learned a long time ago to say, I love you and I accept you, even though I don't understand you.
I like that.
And that's true. I can be who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I can love people.
Sure.
And I can accept them. I don't like what they do, but I can accept them as people.
Mm-hmm.
I can love them and I can accept them, even though I don't understand them.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Release them.
Yeah. Let them go.
Let it go.
Mm-hmm.
Because your life has a higher value.
Mm-hmm.
And all of these things serve as anchors.
Mm-hmm.
And every time we're justified and we say this or we do that or this happens or that happens or we have a reason or a narrative on our head,
Mm-hmm.
all that does is anchor you down
Mm-hmm.
from everything that you have
Mm-hmm.
as your potential, as your what story do you want?
Mm-hmm.
That's your story. What story do you want? Because you get to choose that.
Mm-hmm.
You get to choose it. And you know, this is one of the things with, people talk about the homelessness issue. And there's a huge homelessness issue.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what, Jim, too? There are people who have chosen to be homeless.
Yes.
And they've chosen it, and they will articulate it,
Mm-hmm.
and they will explain why. And that's their choice.
Yes.
They are owning that. They're not asking for people
Mm-mm.
to change that.
Mm-mm.
I don't agree with that, but it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
What matters is they're taking personal responsibility there.
Yes.
If they can do that, we who have so many benefits in our life can take personal responsibility for the little failings in our life and the things that we aren't happy with and the things that we are, on and on and on.
Oh, yeah.
Does that make any sense, Jim?
It really does. And I want to build on that a little bit. There was a show that I saw several years ago about homeless. And, the people were a group of people, and, they're interested in trying to help the homeless get back in a home and all that. And this one guy says, I don't want your help.
Yes, that's right.
He said, I walked away from all of the pressures of life. I was in corporate America. I got tired. He says, now I can do what I want to do. If I want to sit down and draw a picture in the park, I can. I know where I can go and find shelter when I need it. I've got resources that fits my needs, and I am happy. And see, the key to that is living an abundant life is that it doesn't take things. In fact, things cannot make you happy. They can make your life more comfortable depending on, who you are. But if you rely on things to make you happy, you will always live in poverty. You will always be bankrupt. You will always be miserable because there's not enough things.
Yep. Somebody has more.
Yeah. That can fill. Yeah, they can fill that void within you. And that's where having a satisfied mind and loving yourself, because that gentleman certainly did. He says, I don't want your help. I don't want a house. I don't want taxes. I don't want all this stuff.
Well, I'm going to take it in a little different direction.
Okay.
And folks, in case you don't know this, Jim and I don't rehearse any of this ahead of time.
No.
After all of the stuff and the battles and the things that were taking place, where we had people over there in the Middle East and everything, which went on for years and years and years. One of the things that stood out was women wearing burqas, women wearing face coverings. In our culture, we see that many saw that as repressing those women.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there were a lot of things that repressed women in those cultures. I'm not going to say there are or not, but the thing is, you actually had shows with women in those cultures saying, I like this. I like to be able to go and not have people staring at me because of my face or my figure or anything else. And the thing is, they were taking ownership for their own life and what they felt and what they believed. We aren't the ones to judge that.
That's right.
They owned that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's a whole, I'm like I said, Jim, I'm taking it in a whole different direction. But the thing is, when we take ownership of our own life, you empower yourself to have the life that you really, really want. There's it may not be a chapter that you're writing or changing. It may be a whole new book as you're watching this that you want to write and change. But you have that authority to do it. There is nobody in the world, nobody who has that authority in your life to change that narrative. And I'm going to say one other thing here. Back to the Middle East, I was a very, very early adapter in using virtual assistants. And before there were big networks you could go to for virtual assistants, and for those of you who don't know, that's people that you find to do certain tasks and projects when you're in business, but they're not employees. You pay them for the task or project. So I found a wonderful virtual assistant in, of all places, Pakistan. Now, she was a woman, and in Pakistan, to be a woman basically at that time meant for her to leave her house, she had to have a brother, a cousin, a son, or somebody that walked with her, a man, a male, a child who was a male, who went with her just to leave her house. I don't agree with that. But what she found was a way to create a value for herself. And I had her do certain things digitally, certain things in Excel documents, find things online and things like that. And this was the challenge for me, Jim, was I asked her to tell me how much would it cost. And she gave me prices that were ridiculously low in my mind. Okay. $80 or $100 when I would have said $200 or $300 for the research online and finding the information and pulling it in and making this database for me. Now, here's the thing. I could have very easily been the big American and said, oh, no. Let me pay you this much for it. And I was more than willing to. But the dignity in that moment for her, the dignity of being able to take ownership and set a price and do the work and get paid was so much bigger than whatever the pennies or dollars would have been in difference. And over a period of several years, she actually brought in several other women around her, and they were able to do things under those circumstances and begin generating revenue for their family, for their community, for their neighborhood, for their children. And this is where we have to be willing to let somebody within the narrative that they have to work and the culture they have to work to be able to be a full ownership person of their life. That's a challenge sometimes, Jim. It's a challenge.
It is. It really is. And when you're talking about that, what goes through my mind, I've heard the story before, ladies and gentlemen, but really what goes through mine is put yourself in that lady's shoes. Here she is. She's talking to some guy from the United States of America.
Thousands of miles.
And she says, well, I can do it for this here. And she's hoping that he will accept her offer. think how she felt when Emerson says, "You got it." The joy, the jubilee in her heart, the dignity, because that is something she earned. And if Emerson would have come back and says, "Well, you're only charging 80, I'd feel more better if I give you 160," that would have been a letdown to her. That would have been an insult to her. That would have been him saying, "You don't know what you're worth," and that is, one of the worst words you can say to somebody is that, "I told you so," or that would be along that same wave.
Or being big and magnanimous, and oh, no, it's just this much. It's like to set your price, to do the work, and to get paid for it. Those to give somebody the chance to do that,
yes,
is powerful. It is powerful beyond measure.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you honored her that way, because otherwise, it would have insulted her. She'd have said, "Well, made her feel dumb." I don't even want to.
It wouldn't have insulted her, maybe, because she probably was used to being insulted. What it would have done is said, "I don't value you. I don't value your sense of worth. I don't value the thing." And in turns it would change it from simply her being able to set her value and receive it. See, I can think I'm worth $1 billion. And Jim, if you averaged, and I'll tell you, you may not know this, if you averaged my net worth and Bill Gates, you'd have over $1 billion.
Is that right?
So but the thing is, for her to be able to set a price and receive it, that means somebody else recognizes her. So it's us being able to step back from our actions, our reactions, our feelings, and recognize that all of those things matter.
Yes,
they all matter.
They do.
Yeah. They all matter.
Because you're really messing with someone's life and how they value themselves and all that. And the dollar amount, as Emerson said, is not important, because it's the appreciation that you showed them, appreciation that you gave them that opportunity. On the marquee down there, I forgot to mention this. One of our ladies that works with us, Charlene Fouch, she also hosts with us. Charlene's a wonderful lady. She is the head of the Healing Acres Never Again. Charlene, I believe you might feel like watching the show today, but you're still getting over COVID. We want to say we hope and pray you get feeling much better soon. She's had it now for over a week. She has felt terrible. Bless her heart. And her organization.
Much better, thank you.
Yeah, I mentioned that too about you being there. You had COVID. You sure did. And so glad that you're with us, and back, got back on your feet. And we mentioned it on the air too, Emerson. Me and Donna did. We sure did.
Did you really?
Did. Yes, sir. Honest goodness.
You guys are the bomb.
Yeah. We did. We did.
You're the bomb diggity.
Yeah. And the Healing Acres Never Again, it's a place that Charlene,
powerful ministry. Yes.
Yeah. She created that because she went through everything from incest to abuse, just the full gamut there. And it's a place that women can go to and men can too, but mainly women, where they can find support and help, and for someone to let them know that they're loved and they're worth something. That is just so, I can't help it. Every time I talk about it, it reminds me of Charlene's story and everything she shared with me. It really gets to me.
There's the marquee. Go to the bookmark it, go to it, right click and open up a new window, whatever you have to do. But go in there, see what they're doing, and support that.
Yes. And also visit our own Facebook there, Healing Acres Never Again. And it's just really amazing how when we think about decluttering our lives, I think one of the first
Wait a
things.
minute, Jim. Are you about to get over to the topic of the day here instead
Yeah,
of?
I
Oh,
might.
wow. Okay.
I might. But really, when it comes to that, what we really need to do is make a list of the things that we're really thankful and grateful for.
Oh my gosh, yes.
That is a tremendous starting place. It
And
really
don't
is.
just do it once. Read through it.
Mm-hmm.
Remind yourself of it.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Focus on it. Meditate on it. The things that matter to you,
Mm-hmm.
and that I'm going on a tangent here, Jim.
Go ahead, Butter.
You know,
Go ahead.
I've said this throughout my life. It's better to light one candle than to curse the darkness. Find those things that are anchors. Find those things that are the candles. Find those things that are the things that you can have gratitude for in your life.
Amen.
And all of the other stuff starts to melt away.
Yes.
There is no, and again, scripturally, this isn't just in the Judeo-Christian Bible, but I'm more familiar with that. But although I've studied 10 or 15 of the other major world religions, it's a concept, though. Light, there are things that are more powerful. Light and darkness are not equal.
That's right.
Light always overcomes darkness in the physical and in the spiritual. The physical world is a reflection of the spiritual world. So if I light a candle in the middle of a gymnasium with thousands and thousands of seats around me and all the lights out, every single person in that gymnasium can see that light. Light overcomes darkness. If you have the lights on in your house and it's dark outside, you open the door, you don't make it darker in your house.
There you go.
Principles like that matter. Those things aren't just, oh, that's interesting. Yeah. I never thought about it like that. Gee whiz, you know what? That's powerful, because in your own mind and in all of the things we want in our life, or in the life of others around us, or in our culture, our society, or you name it, lighting one candle is more powerful than all the darkness. And in your life, look for the candles. Look for the things that you have left, not the things you've lost.
Right.
There, I turned that and put it into a different context. But look for the things that you have left. Look for the brightness. Look for the light.
Yeah.
Not the darkness, not the hurt, the sadness, the anger, the resentment, all of those things. Look at the light. Focus on that light, because and it empowers you to do that.
Oh, yeah, it really does. And as Emerson said earlier, we don't ever prescript anything. We get some ideas together we're going to discuss during the show and all that. But really, what makes our show so strong and so powerful is that we follow the energy of the show. Because we truly believe that the energy comes to us to share information, because it's not what we want to say. Is what someone out there in TV land wants to hear. And we're so grateful for that. And talking about that light in the candle, it reminded me of a story when we were out there, not a story, but a situation. We were out there in Arizona. I was a member of the Arizona National Guard. We were out there. We were under on a field exercise. And at nighttime, we were practicing noise and light discipline. So
this is a year or two ago, right, Jim?
Oh, it's back in the 80s. Yeah. It's back when, long time ago. And we were out there and out in Arizona with that, big, huge sky, because you can see 70 miles in some areas. But this one night we were out there, it was just pitch black. No moon, no stars. It was kind of overcast a little bit. It was dark. You could not see your hand in front of your face. And we're out there, and someone, I don't know how far away they were. They were probably a couple hundred yards from us. They took a Bic lighter, the old Bic lighter flick.
Yeah, yeah.
They lit a cigarette, and that little bitty flame from that Bic lighter, all that vast darkness could not squelch the
You
flicker of
saw it.
that flame. Everybody
Yeah.
saw it, like, wow. And so when you talk about lighting your candle, you have a candle in you.
You do. Yes.
And the only one that can light it or put it out is you.
Yes.
And we've talked this whole 45 minutes so far on the show about that, and about turning yourself on. Ooh, and when I say turn yourself on, I don't mean in the normal sense we normally think about that. I'm thinking about the real you.
Well,
Turn
and it's
yourself on.
scriptural. It's scriptural.
Yeah,
Don't hide your light under a bushel.
bushel.
It's
That's right.
scriptural.
Mhm.
It's the power of light,
Mm.
the power of belief, the power of positive, the power of opportunities, the power of
Oh, yeah.
all of the things that in our life
Amen.
we have in our life. Does your car run? Thanks. The
Mhm.
car runs. Do you have a house? Do you have some place to stay? If you don't have, do you have a place that you're able to go to?
Mhm.
Do you have people? It's whatever that is, your light, your candle, if you will.
Mhm.
It's better to light one candle than curse the darkness.
Mm. Yeah.
You are empowered.
Mm.
I am empowered. Jim is empowered. We are empowered. And we have things that we can use in our
Amen.
life that not just to change your circumstances,
Mhm.
but you have things in your life that can change the lives of tens or dozens or hundreds or thousands or hundreds of thousands of other people. You
Mhm.
have that right now in your
Mhm.
life.
Mhm.
And to not use it, and again, going back to scripture, hiding your light under a bushel means that doesn't happen. When you
Mhm.
take the bushel off, the basket off, the covering off, and you begin to let your light show,
Mhm.
your
Let shine.
value show,
Mhm.
your gifts show. You have, and I'm going to say this because there are people out there listening right now, Jim,
Mhm.
will say, "Well, I've been hurt. I've been taken advantage of. I've been screwed, blued, and tattooed." And we all will excuse the colloquialism, but I'll never be hurt again. I'm never going to let that happen again. It's not going to happen again. What you
Mhm.
do is you build a wall of invulnerability.
Mm.
And when you build that wall, you put the basket over your own light. You
Mhm.
shut down the ability that you have. It's a God-given ability that you
Mhm.
have to change, alter, to impact the lives
Mhm.
of hundreds or thousands or millions of other people.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you are the one that is doing it. Nobody else is doing it to you.
Mhm.
Don't, I beg you, don't let anything that's happened to you in your life
Amen.
shut you, be a reason to shut off your light
Mm.
from everybody else in your life. It doesn't make you more vulnerable. People worry about it. They worry about being more vulnerable, Jim. You know
Mhm.
what? You don't have to be gullible. You don't have to be stupid. You don't have to be vulnerable and be. It's like you don't have to be the next person that comes along that's the same as the last person that came along, and all of a sudden they're taking advantage of you too. You don't have to be that.
That's right.
You can operate with wisdom and vision and everything else.
Mhm.
And a lot of times, Jim, I'm rambling here, but a lot of times that's about trusting ourselves,
Mhm.
isn't it? It's about
Yes, it
trusting
is.
ourselves in that
Mm-hmm.
process.
Mm-hmm.
But your gifts matter.
Mm-hmm.
The world needs you.
Mm-hmm.
Your gifts matter. And when you are willing to be vulnerable in that, not gullible, when you're willing to put your gifts out there,
Mm.
you can begin to change the world
Amen.
around you.
You sure can. You know, Emerson, when you were talking about that, it reminded me of one night I got ready to go to bed. This has been about, 10, 15 years ago. And have you ever, you're sitting out there,
Hope you slept since then.
yeah, you've been you've been sitting out there, you're reading a book, you get kind of tired, and you get up and you go into the bathroom, you brush your teeth, you get ready for bed, and you lie down in bed, and you're like, your eyes are just like, and you're not sleepy at all.
Yep.
And I laid there and I thought, well, you know, I need to go to sleep because I need to get up in the morning and I need to do this and I need to do that. And somehow or another, the thought came to me, just put your mind on something worthwhile or something. I forget exactly how it came to me. But anyway, I got the idea of just giving thanks for any little thing that came into my mind.
Oh, that's powerful. Oh, that is so powerful.
And I started giving thanks for my health, my home. Thank you for my dog. Thank you for the love that my dog brings to me and I enjoy. What a gift it is to have a beautiful animal, because we all have our animals that we love. So we all, those of us that are animal lovers. And I even remember thanking for my chainsaw it cranked because that thing cranked very easily that
I'm
day.
sure
I used
Evelyn
it.
was in there somewhere.
Yeah, because usually but that thing was so hard to crank. I had it worked on several times. Usually by the time I got it cranked, I was too tired from cranking to do anything. But my point being is that I never, ever, ever, I did not run out of things to say.
Yeah.
I drifted off to sleep and I slept like a baby. And I've done that a few times in my life, and I should do it more often, to be honest with you. But when you start giving thanks and
Gratitude.
appreciate what you do have and gratitude in life, it just puts you on a whole different. You just promoted yourself into the abundance of life. You really have.
It's a gratitude. It's gratitude
Mm-hmm.
to go down and remind yourself of the things that you're grateful for.
Mm-hmm.
And I when I center and when I which is I'm using the term center, but meditate, whatever, or pray, whatever. The brain science, by the way, has shown that the same areas of our brain are lit up by people who are praying intently and people who are meditating. I don't know. That's from my career or my background in brain science, but
Mm-hmm.
but the thing is, when we put our focus, perception is reality, Jim.
Mm-hmm.
Your perception of your world is your reality.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's ever been a time in our history where we can look around this country and see how different people's perceptions, the little silos that they find themselves in, have changed even how they look at reality as
Mm-hmm.
far as what is real and what isn't, today is the day.
Oh
But
yeah.
within your personal life,
Mm-hmm.
you have the ability to alter that by simply
Mm.
doing what Jim was talking about, by creating that gratitude list and putting your focus on it and reminding yourself of that daily, the people and the circumstances and the things in your life that you're happy about.
Mm.
Does your car run? If your
Mm-hmm.
car runs, that's something to be grateful for. Because
Oh
imagine
yeah.
if it didn't, all the hassle, even if you had the money, if you had the money to fix it and everything, all the hassle and this and that and the other, and having to rent a car and
Mm-hmm.
find a garage, you know what? Every person, everything that you have in your life,
Mm-hmm.
be grateful for it. It's
Yeah.
there for a reason, and it is fulfilling a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And when we remind ourselves of this day after day after day, that changes our
Mm-hmm.
entire focus, our entire mentality. And it goes back to whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. If my narrative begins changing and I'm looking at all the things that I've got, all of the things to be grateful for, all of the people to be grateful for, it changes every single aspect of your life.
It really does. And
it's
I want to
daily thing to do.
And I want to finish this show. It's been a great show. In fact, we talked about a lot of things we didn't even think about talking about today. But be thankful for this. And I'm going to let Emerson, because I know this is going to light him up here.
Uh-oh.
Be thankful that the creator of this universe loves you. Just as you are. You are loved just as you are, with all your imperfections, all your, your aggravations, frustrations, and all the things you've done in your life. You are loved. There's no question about that. Is the sun rise in the west and set in the, rise in the east and set in the west? Yes, it does. You are loved. Oh, that's something to be grateful for.
And there are no dress rehearsals. This is your life. And you know what? You have the ability to impact hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands or millions of other people. And I can give you example after example after example after example after example of people who had been hurt, are sick, are close to death, are shot, are injured, are whatever you come up with, who have gone on to change the lives of thousands upon thousands of people. You have a value.
Yes.
Your value. Your value is huge. Let the lid off and start seeing it from that perspective.
Absolutely. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm so sorry we're out of time. We could go on for another half an hour and we wouldn't even pass a collection plate. I promise you that.
Well, I don't know about you.
But we have just really enjoyed this. Is the type of show that we always enjoy putting on here on our show because it's so powerful to you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Emerson, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for your wonderful insight and information. Be sure and love yourself first, then you can love others. Make sure you give yourself grace. And remember, above all things, as little as you may feel about yourself or as low as you feel about yourself, you are loved and you are worthy of being loved. We'll see you tomorrow.
That is so
You bet.